Hey guys, I just watched the third episode of 20th Century Fox's and Marvel's The Gifted series. So let's talk about it. This episode was actually really good and I'll get into why I enjoyed it so much. So basically guys, this episode starts out with a flashback from 3 years ago of Polaris, aka Lorna, and Eclipse sort of showing their relationship off a little bit. And it's weird to see this from a Marvel show because obviously when you think of Marvel, you think of like action and supervillains and superpowers and stuff. But no, there was a really nice scene at the start of this episode that actually coincidentally we're talking about the powers and stuff. They actually show how Lorna's powers work, and she has to like sort of obstruct metal and stuff. And this is actually really smart because if you guys didn't know, in the comics, her dad is Magneto, and obviously if you don't know who Magneto is, he can like obstruct metal and stuff with like his mind and stuff. And basically it kind of foreshadows a bit later in the episode where Lorna is in a prison and she sees this huge door and a sink and a toilet, and she realizes everything's made of metal. And she has this collar on from the first episode where it sort of dampens her powers, like the ones from Deadpool 2 that we talked about. And she tries to like rip this door off. She actually ends up doing it, but I don't know why, but the collar still worked because from her point of view, she thought it wasn't made of metal, but obviously it looks like it's metal. I'm not too sure why she tried it, even though it shows how powerful she actually is. And it's a really great contrast to from her being a loving character, and she was like she got so angry when she was using her powers. She looked like Eleven from Stranger Things. If you guys have seen that show, like her nose starts bleeding, and this police officer comes in and she says, "Oh, what a disappointment you are," and because obviously in this world, in this sort of different universe of the X-Men characters, these mutants are labeled as terrorists. And we'll actually get into that now, guys, because this episode actually sort of differs away from Lorna for quite a bit of the episode. It comes back to her every now and then to make sure she's okay. But the Strucker family are on the run because in the dead of night they try and see if they could find any family or any other way to break Reed out of prison, because obviously, as you guys know from the first episode, he got captured. And this episode has the Strucker family go to a character named Danny, and that is the mum Caitlin's brother. And there's a great scene where they get the sort of like the neighborhood watch get informed that these mutants are staying at their house, and they all come with like pitchforks and sniper rifles and stuff. And there's a great scene where they have a huge chase that actually ends with Blink sort of opening a massive portal for them to escape. But for doing that, she didn't want to do that because she didn't think she had the power to do it. But this other mutant called the Dreamer, she like poisons her with this potion. And one of the characters, Johnny, who what's his name is Thunderbird, he can like track stuff. And she doesn't really know him, but this mutant, the Dreamer, puts this sort of like potion in in her head of a memory that she had with Johnny. And so Blink thinks that she's sort of in love with him. It's really weird. So she didn't want to do it before because she didn't have anything in the world. She was like quite depressed at this episode. But obviously this episode really contrasts from the start and the end. And Blink, obviously she inhales this potion, realizes she's in love with this man. And the CGI in this scene's great. Like all these cars are bombing it down the road, and she opens this massive portal and they all fly through, and they escape. And it really sets up next episode because we see Danny obviously go away with this episode, but he hands them the keys to this cabin in the woods. Not a reference to Cabin in the Woods, but you know. And so I hope we sort of see where that goes, but I bet they're going to get tracked somehow. That's another thing with this show, may be a little bit of a negative. There's a lot of things that get repeated, like the portal closing on someone and then getting tracked by something. I really hope going forward they don't keep on doing that. But overall, this episode was really good, guys. It was action packed, and the chase scene at the end was really good. I hope we see more of Polaris and if her baby's okay, because obviously last episode she got kicked in that the prison riot, sort of the fight at the end of last episode, and they didn't really disclose on that this episode. But overall, I'm really excited to keep on watching this. But what are you guys thinking of this series, or if you guys have, obviously this series has been out for quite a while, what do you guys think of this series? Personally, I'm really enjoying it. This episode was really good. I'd probably give it anywhere from a 7.5 to an 8.5. I think that's a really good score for this episode because it's really enjoyable. The music in it is great. There was a lot of scenes of tension and people getting hurt and stuff. And yeah, also the story with Reed as well, how he's under the influence of the police and he has to be an undercover agent, but he actually like backfires on them and now he gets recaptured. So I bet he'll be put with Polaris. So I can't wait to see where that goes next episode. And obviously, I'll try and get at least maybe 2 episodes per week because I am quite busy at the moment, but I'm really enjoying this series so far, guys. So let us know what you think of the third episode of The Gifted by 20th Century Fox and Marvel. And yeah, let us know down below, and I'll see you guys in the next one. Look out for my episode 4 review. Goodbye.